Hi everyone, Jamie Humphries here, and today we're taking a look at the brand new Knife Drop Octave, Fuzz and Synth pedal, which is a collaboration between Eventide and Jack White and his company Third Man Hardware. So today we're looking at the brand new Knife Drop pedal, which was released this week by Eventide, which is the Jack White signature Octave, Fuzz and Synth pedal, which is a collaboration between Jack White's company Third Man Hardware. You have Third Man Records and you have Third Man Hardware, which features a whole bunch of other Jack White musical products. There's these Fender guitars, Fender amps, there's some MXR stuff, and now we have the Eventide collaboration as well. And these are kind of really geared towards the sonic and tonal palette of Jack White, who is really known for those sort of lo-fi, nasty guitar tones. Now, although this is a very simplistic pedal, talking to my friends at Eventide, they said that Jack White wanted the front of the pedal to be very simplistic. But with any Eventide product, you know that there's always going to be a little bit extra going on under the hood, and we're going to look at that in the second part of this demo. So let's kick off by taking a look at the layout of the pedal. I should mention that this pedal blends different signals. You can send your guitar signal in, you can blend that with the synth, you can blend that with the fuzz, and you can also add octaves. So there's a lot that you can achieve, these individual layers You can treat them on their own, or you can build them up to create sonic madness. So the front of the pedal, down the bottom here, we have the control that activates the pedal, turns the pedal on and off. Over here, we have the switch that activates or deactivates the octave. That will also, when you hold that button in, it reverts you back to the first preset. And we will talk about presets in a little while. We also have these dual function buttons here. We have pre and post, putting the frequencies controls pre and post distortion. The green is pre whilst the red is post. So when you have it green, the frequency controls are before the drive. And when you have it post, the frequency controls are after the drive. Then we have this little button here that when you select that, you select either the upper octave when it's green or the sub and upper octave when the light is red. Okay, up to the top row of controls, we have the synth control. Dialing that all the way clockwise will give you the maximum amount of the monophonic synthesizer. Turning it down, you can blend that in with your guitar signal. You then send that into the drive. So we have the drive control, and then we have the pedal level control. Okay, we have this alternate endings button here, which activates another layer of these controls. So they double up basically. When you hold that down, the first control is the attack. That affects the attack of the envelope. If you have it set all the way round, you're going to get a slow build with the envelope. If you have it set lower, then it's going to be a little bit more quacky and squawky, like an envelope filter. You can get some really cool effects with that. Then we have the resonance control, and the resonance control is the depth of the frequency. So again, playing around with that will really give you some interesting sounds. And then we have the cutoff control, and that's the scope, if you like, of the frequency range. If you have it all the way up, the pedal is fully open, so you get more of your sort of classic overdrive. But then when you adjust that, when you adjust these three controls together, that's where you create those interesting frequency envelope effects. So again, utilizing those with the pre and post control allows you to create some very unique and unusual tones. Now let's take a look at the connections. We have the guitar input, which can be either mono or a stereo connection, like a Y cable. We have the stereo outputs. I've got both of those running, but because I've got the pedal selected to mono, there's a little mono stereo switch. I'm sending the same signal from the output, but I have done some stuff with the stereo setting within some of the presets that I made for the opening track. If you select the stereo button, then you will get like all effect on one side, and then the other side will be dry. There's a great way that you can set that up so that when you turn the pedal off, if you're running a twin amp setup, I'm running two Friedman preamps. I'm using the IRX and the IRJ. So what I can do is have it set up so that the IRX is my main guitar sound. But then when the pedal is off, there's no signal going into the IRJ. But when I hit that, then the effect goes into the IRJ. So that means that you could have one amp set up as your standard guitar tone and the other side with all your fuzz octave and your synth sound. So, and you can save that. It can be saved to a preset. So you might have another preset where it's coming out of both of the amplifiers. I found that to be a really creative tool. There was a little lead melody that I played in the kind of chorus section where I had my Friedman amp tone on one side and the other side was the synth sound. There was a rhythm part where I had like a high octave and fuzz on one side, and the other side was just the Friedman sound. And for recording, you could run that into your audio interface and be using a pair of software amps, or you could be running it into a modular utilizing the two different modeled amplifiers. So there's a lot that you can do with that sort of wet, dry scenario. And we will talk about that when we plug the pedal into the Mac. We have an expression pedal output. I've got an expression pedal set up. You can see when I push the expression pedal down, you can see it lighting up there. I utilize the expression pedal within the performance. So if you look, you can see me getting those sort of really exaggerated envelope effects when I'm pushing the pedal down. We have a little USB socket there, connect to the computer for updating firmware, connecting to the H90 controller, and also you can access 127, I think it is, presets via MIDI over USB. So, yeah, there's a lot you can do with this little pedal. You can also hook it up to one of the Eventide do these like really cool little bars, little foot switches for scrolling through the presets. They work with the H90, they work with the Riptide and other pedals, and they work great with this. This light tree, if you like, down the side here, although that's indicating the expression pedal, that's also showing your presets. If I make adjustments to it, if I hold that switch down, it's now reverted back to preset 1, which I believe is the knife drop preset. You can only activate one preset with the pedal on its own. So I was using it with the computer to select and come up with other presets. But if you get one of these little foot switches, then you can select your presets on the fly as well. So yeah, there's a lot going on. It's not just a fuzz pedal. It's a really creative tool, both in terms of the controls and how you can route it. Okay, so let's have a listen. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to start off with the first preset. Straight away, you can hear some sonic madness going on. Let's have a listen to the expression pedal on that first preset. You can hear how it's exaggerating when I push the pedal down. Push the expression pedal down. And you can assign any of the controls to the expression pedal and multiple controls as well. So there's a scope for you to sort of really manipulate your tone and the sound in a performance, you know, real time control with the using the expression pedal. I should also mention there is a setup mode for setting up MIDI and configuring the pedal. There's like a kill dry. There's this like catch-up control with the knobs as well, so that you can have it so you don't get massive jumps depending where the knob is set compared to how the preset is saved. Let's just experiment a little bit with the pedal, just dialing in some sounds. Let's hold down the alternate endings. I'm going to turn down the attack, so all the way down. I'm going to turn down the resonance, and I'm going to turn up the cutoff. Let's turn off the octave, and we still have synth. Let's get rid of the synth. Okay, so there's the fuzz. I really like this fuzz, actually. It's a lot more kind of distortion than fuzz. Sometimes fuzz, to me, I just don't really get into it, but that's a really aggressive sounding distortion fuzz. If I just flick between the pre and post. Okay, let's kick in the octave. So we got the sub octave now. Well, that's the sub and the upper octave. Let's pull down the gain control. Push the little button on the front. We now get the upper octave. Let's turn up the drive. It's really good for those sort of psychedelic solos. For your Jimmy Page moment. So that's, yeah, but again, if we actually push the pre-post with the filter control. Okay, so let's now turn the octave off. Let's drop the fuzz all the way down, and let's bring in the synth. We can bring in some fuzz. I've obviously got the synth all the way up, so we can blend that a little bit. We can kick in the octave, so we got the upper octave. So you can see how easy it is just by utilizing those controls, how we've managed to come up with a pretty crazy sound. You know, these are really cool soundscape effects. You can go from just a regular aggressive distortion fuzz to adding in octaves above and below, and also utilizing the monophonic synth. This is really cool. Okay, I've reverted back to the original preset. I'm going to turn off the synth now, and I'm going to turn off the octave. And let's have a little bit of fun with the envelope sort of size, the frequency controls. Let's just drop down the fuzz. See, now if I adjust, as I said, when you turn the cutoff all the way up, you don't really notice the effect too much. It's the kind of frequencies wide open, if you like. Like so, but if I start to turn that down, there you go. Okay, let's drop down the fuzz. Let's bring in the synth. This was really cool, you know, especially if you want to be in a Rush covers band. Bring in the octave. Get a little bit of fuzz in there, a little bit of growl. That's a lot of fuzz and a lot of growl. So that's really cool. Get some great synth effects. As I said, if you're in a Rush covers band, then job's a good one. Job done. Let's turn that off, and let's experiment a little bit more with the frequency controls. Let's just adjust the resonance a little bit. Let's turn that up. Let's have a listen to that. Wow. Okay, how about the attack? Hold that button down. Let's turn the attack all the way down. Now we get nothing. Now you get that sort of envelope filtery effect. Put in some octave. So hopefully you can see how the controls work and the kind of sounds that you can make just by experimenting. As I always say in my videos, I'm always a little bit uncomfortable with this kind of messing around with the controls because I think it can be quite boring for you, but at least that gives you a little bit of an idea. This is a really powerful button here, the pre-post. Okay. And if you just want to go back to your original preset, hold that down, the light flashes, and then you're back to your preset. Okay, so the glasses are on, which means that we have to use the computer. Yes, I thought it would be a good idea for us to plug in and look at how Knife Drop integrates with the H90 controller, because there's a little bit more that you can do. I actually did all of my programming for the demo track using the computer. I just like it, seeing everything, not holding down double buttons and whatnot. Something I can't remember whether I mentioned this because I'm getting old. If I have, then do apologise. You've got these really cool little cards. I'll put them in view there, which fit over the controls. These are preset cards. So if you don't want to connect your knife drop to the computer, or you don't have one of the little foot switches that enables you to get access all of the presets that Jack White came up with, then you've got these cards that show you where the different parameters should be set, and they look kind of cool. The whole pedal's got this kind of Italian B-movie kind of horror movie sort of vibe to it, which I think is really cool. Anyway, let's have a look at the control surface. You can see here we've got the controls of the pedal, which is kind of nice that you don't have to sort of hold down the buttons. So we've got 6 controls. Over here, source. This is interesting. Guitar or bass. I did a little bit with the bass. The pedal is very much inspired by Royal Blood, believe it or not, having the ability to sort of bi-amp. So I took advantage of that with the bass sound. I didn't go too crazy with it because there's a lot going on with the guitar. So what I had was basically my bass sound, my bass tone, which was going into 2 notes genome with like a Mesa Boogie bass amp. And then the other side was just going into the pedal, and I had like a synth fuzz. So I was utilizing the different output modes, which we'll talk about in a moment. So yeah, that's cool. If you're going to use bass, then make sure you select the bass, because then it specifically sets up the pedal for bass guitar. I'm going to go down to one of my presets here. I'm going to go to riff 2, is it? No, was it riff 3? Yeah, riff 3. You saw it change there. We've got mute on the screen now. It says in output, I've got through, and on output 2, and on output 1, it says mute. So basically what that means is when the pedal is off, it's on at the moment, output 1 will be muted. So when I engage the pedal, the sound of the effect will go to that secondary amplifier. Anyway, let's go through some of the presets. We've got these first selection of Jack White presets. We have Knife Drop. We've already heard this preset, but it's really cool. Then we have, actually on Knife Drop, you can see that the resonance control, if I click the arrow there, oh, that says active and bypass, the wrong one. On the control itself, when I highlight the control, you've got a little drop-down arrow. And there you can see the expression pedal mapping. So you can see the position that it starts and where it ends, and on and off. And then if we look at the resonance, the start position and the end position. So you can tailor how much the expression pedal is affecting. Actually, I say expression pedal, I'm pushing down my volume pedal. Let's now play with the expression pedal. So let's have a listen. You can really get into the performance element of this pedal by setting up an expression pedal. What else have we got? We've got dub drop. We don't want to save that. So now we're on dub drop, and the resonance, you can see it's lit up. The resonance is lit up yellow on the screen. I'm pointing at the screen. I'm forgetting that you're screen capture. I'm screen capturing. Yeah, if I go there, you can see that the resonance is set up to the expression pedal. So okay, let's go to Knife Sweeper. Knife Sweeper is the next one, and the cutoff is mapped to the expression pedal. Oh, that's nice. Hard bounce. Oh, no, I've just jumped over one. Hard bounce. The attack is on the expression pedal for this one. You can see it's only setting the attack. When the pedal is back, it's at about 9 o'clock up to 12 o'clock. So it's fast when the pedal is up. If I push it down, you can see it gets it's the slower attack time. What else have we got? What's that? Obsidian. Oh, they're really cool sounds. I love them. No handle. Let's check this one out. Next one, dramatic rise. That was really cool when I pushed the expression pedal down. It was changing the resonance. So that gives you an idea. What's this one? Quick wah. There's a whole bunch of other presets here. A quick wah. We can kick in a little bit more drive. Okay, so now what we're going to do is just look at some of the presets that I made. There was a lot of sounds on the track, so I did use some of the presets. The synth section was one of them. I used the knife drop for that. But in contrast to that, I wanted to add a wacky harmony, so I used the classic synth, and I was playing, I think it was something like this. I also used the instant knife preset, which was for the big slides, so I overdubbed some of those again, just playing just a slide, but just adding intensity to the sound of the track. So onto my presets. There's the dirty bass preset that I made. We won't worry about setting up the bass, but we got the main riff. Nice fuzzy octave sound. Then we got riff 2, which has the resonance control. I had the resonance, I had the expression pedal pulled back. So you got like a double track. Turn the volume up. But then when we went into the second riff, I was pushing the expression pedal down. So okay, so just on those held notes, again, this is how you can get really creative with this pedal, utilizing the expression pedal. You know, you're doing some of this real-time performance-based manipulation of your tone. Now we're on to riff 3, and this is an interesting riff because this is one of the ones where I wanted to utilize the stereo outputs. I've selected through on output 2 and muted bypass on output 1. I've gone on to the second channel of the Friedman IRX. And you can hear I've got a higher gain sound, but it's just in one side. So now if I activate the pedal, turn on the knife drop, we've now got an octave sound, an octave fuzz in the other side. And this is a sound that I used for like the chorus. That is a really nice wide spread, adding that octave fuzz on the other side. Now onto riff 4. This was like a squawky envelope filter sounding riff. Now we're on to the lead synth sound, and this is one of my favourite sounds. Once again, I'm utilising the mute and the through wet-dry option on the outputs, on the routing. I'm on channel 2 of the IRX, and this was for like a little picked arpeggio figure for the chorus. So let's just hear it without the knife drop. Now we're going to have a synth sound on the other side. Okay, now let's check out lead 1. And for lead 1, I wanted to have something that had that sort of Queens of the Stone Age, sort of quite quirky fuzz. This is an interesting sound with the attack. It almost gives you like a reverse guitar effect. Okay, and to wrap up my presets, we're on lead 2. And for this, I wanted to go for quite a straight ahead lead tone. I must admit, I didn't want to go for anything too bizarre. But I wanted to see how we could use the pedal just to get unusual tones. So for this one, it was more about how I set the resonance and the cutoff to give this a really nice, smooth, rich lead sound. Almost like having a wah-wah half-cocked. Okay, so there you have it, the new Jack White Eventide knife drop pedal. It's a really useful pedal. It can give you some very outlandish effects. We've got fuzz, although it's more like an aggressive distortion. We've got the envelope filter section. You can really carve out some unique tones with that. Anything from sort of those envelope effects with a fast attack to slow attacks, giving you almost like a reverse guitar sound. We have octaves, we have high octave, and we have sub octaves. And also we've got the synth as well. So if you're really looking for something that you can use as a straight ahead distortion pedal, you can use the resonance and the cutoff to set unusual tones. You know, it's not all about having these outlandish effects, but if that is your thing, then obviously you can utilize these other elements of the pedal to create some really bizarre guitar sounds. Utilize the different options with the outputs, the different routing, that wet-dry option, which I used a lot on the track, as well as utilizing the expression pedal to control the parameters in real time. You've got an incredibly versatile and inspiring pedal. Okay, so that's it from me. I hope you've enjoyed this demo. I really hope you enjoyed the opening track, something a little bit different. Click the links in the description to find out more about the product. And if you don't already, please subscribe. That's it from me. Take care. Bye for now.